No man in the world. No man in the world.
The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. It's women and girls.
We create
the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's Thanksgiving, or as we call it here, Colonizer Day. My name is Liz. I'm one of your hosts. My co-hosts, Maria and Donna, are joining by Zoom. Before we say anything else, I want to give a huge shout out to Frank, who not only answers our phones for us, but also went and tracked down a camera so that we can record. We can record the show today.
With all deliberate speed, did Frank do that?
He really did. I mean, he was all over the place trying to find one, and he finally did. So thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
We appreciate you. Gosh, there are so many things to talk about, unfortunately, today. Top of my hit list of things to talk about is Trump's Department of Education has declassified nursing from being a profession, which,
and public health.
And public health, yes.
Which is crazy to me.
It's like, okay, nurses have fought, and I can speak on this because I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for a long, long time, and that was always the thing. That was my profession for a long time, and it's like, wait, these people have no idea what nurses do. And so I was outraged. Now, I'm hoping that the various nursing organizations come together and just put all kinds of pressure on folks, because there's a lot more nurses than there are doctors.
There needs to be.
Yeah. And so it's like, if the medical lobbies can get things done, the nursing lobbies should be able to as well. We are taking calls today because we are live. You can give us a call at 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. And I got a happy little Colonizer Day surprise when my beautiful co-host Donna walked into the room just now. So she'll be joining us in the conversation. She's getting settled in. What's on the top of your mind today, Maria?
Oh, wow. A lot. And one of the things that I am excited to see is that there's a lot of resignations from Congress.
Yes.
A lot of people not running anymore. I think their sell-by date has gone by a decade ago, probably, yes. But it's good to see that some people see the writing on the wall. So I'm happy about that. I do want to talk about this Department of Education stuff a little bit more because it's interesting to me. I don't think people realize that the impact that it has or that it's going to have. Meanwhile, another baby died of whooping cough out west in Colorado, I believe it was. And we have no real understanding of what our professional health care professionals really are doing, which is and what the consequences of this Department of Education thing are.
Right, because it's going to affect funding. And so people who want to study nursing aren't going to be able to get the same amount of financial aid that they have been able to get. So it's gonna create a shortage of nurses. There's already a shortage of nursing.
We also have. I mean, I don't know how else. I don't know that if anybody who's ever had more than a cold, a head cold, doesn't realize that we are in the middle of a decaying, collapsing healthcare system in this country. And this only adds to it.
Right.
Like on so many fronts. You know, it's nurses, nurse practitioners. Doctors rely heavily on nurses and nurse practitioners to manage the caseload that they have.
And physician assistants too. They
right.
were
And then you have public health officials. Like, what are we doing?
Right. And, you think about it, and it's like nursing is still majority women versus men. Is this a way to get us back into the kitchen?
But, I mean, okay. And then what?
And then what? Yeah.
So we're all back in the kitchen making pies, right? Mm-hmm. I got news for you. My mother worked. She did cancer research her entire adult life.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't mean that she didn't make pies. I learned how to make pies from my mother, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Somebody's got to take care of sick patients still, right? And like, if you are so wedded to your ideology of patriarchy and white supremacy that you are willing to put your life on the line for it, so be it. But the rest of us shouldn't have to pay that price.
Amen. All right. So let's talk to Sarah in Tampa. Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So you are speaking to a retired nurse practitioner.
Ah, okay.
I have not heard this news until just now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it came out earlier in the week.
So I would just like to say that this is the war on women, for sure. Mm-hmm. The majority of nurses are women. Mm-hmm. We are the people that carried everybody through the pandemic.
Right.
And that big fat cow in the White House knows what nurses do because he had his ass in the hospital with COVID. And who do you think took care of him?
Yep.
Melania didn't.
No.
For sure.
She was as far away as you could have gotten, I'm sure.
Taylor Green didn't. Little Miss Hooligan Halligan didn't.
Right.
None of them did. And this is a disgrace.
It really is. It really is.
And go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You're the caller.
Well, I was a nurse for many years before I became a nurse practitioner. And a destructive, patriarchal family where my oldest brother said,
okay, we have to watch our 7 words.
Okay. That's the kind of abuse that I put up with. And my mother was like, you'll never be able to do this. I did it, and it saved me in many ways.
Right.
Because I had no future in the eyes of my family. And I come from an upper middle class family. So this is not, a class issue. This is cross classes. And I just really, my heart breaks for those like me who've looked to nursing as a way up and out and a stepping stone. I went back and got my master's, became a neonatal nurse practitioner. And so, it's insulting. Mm-hmm. It's insulting. And it really is to me. I came out of a misogynistic, patriarchal family. And this is just the playbook.
Yeah.
And it's shocking to me. Shocking. So I'll listen.
All right.
Go ahead.
Thanks so much for calling, Sarah. I'll try to put a link to this new Department of Education decision on our Facebook page. And have a happy Colonizer Day.
Thank you. The same to you. And I love that you're calling this holiday out for what it really is. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I mean, I'm just curious what we are calling women's work these days, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this patriarchal oppression has been around since time immemorial, since the first colonizer landed. And teachers, the teaching profession used to be male dominated,
Right.
but because they don't want to pay teachers, right? It became quote unquote women's work,
Right.
right? And not a profession. So we think about it, there's been this long arc of deconstruction, if you will. And I don't understand what the end game is here for defining, or what shall be defined as, what this is. What is the end game for these people, right?
Right. It's to get rid of all the competition for the jobs that they haven't been getting because...
So, I mean, but honestly, it's one of those jobs that AI will not be able to do.
Right.
Right? AI is not going to be able to be your nurse. It's not going to be able to monitor you,
pack your wound.
Pack
wounds,
right.
or insert an IV and stuff like that. It's just, so what are we doing?
Yeah.
Really, this isn't just chaotic happenstance. There is something deliberate. But what I want to understand what the end game is, if anybody has any ideas.
Donna, do you have any idea what the end game is?
I think that a lot of this stuff, in keeping with the trend, is just to create chaos. It's to create chaos and to clap back at certain groups of people. If women become professionals and they make enough money to not marry, that's a part of it. I think that one of the things that people aren't talking about is how this strikes at immigrants and minorities, many of whom come here and start out in the nursing professions. And so it could be as simple as someone coming in one day and telling Donald Trump that there are 14,000 RNs, and 4,000 of them are graduate degrees in Houston. And, in the report that they're giving on why ICE should go into certain towns. It could be as simple as that. It was in the daily report. Think about Lion King, right? It was in the morning report. And so he said, you know what? They don't deserve to be to have those jobs because they get these high-paying jobs and then they work their way towards even higher paying jobs or owning home health facilities. I mean, some white lady in Texas could have called up and complained about a group home her kid was in, and these Nigerians this and these East Indians that, right? The South Asians. It could be as simple as that. There's really no order to this. It's just like whoever's the victim of the day.
Yeah.
And who knows what the reason is.
Right. So all you nurses out there who didn't hear about this before, you heard about it now. So while I can't recommend taking action, I myself am going to start a massive telephone and email campaign. So that's what I'm doing. Y'all can do whatever you want to do.
So let me just say this.
What happens if there's a general strike, right? And because there are nurses unions and stuff. There was a there's a walkout, I think, in California a bunch of years ago. What happens if, like, okay, we're not professionals. Y'all figure it out for yourselves.
I don't know.
And then what's next? Because, the majority of, we're approaching like the place where the majority of people graduating from medical school are women. Mm-hmm. We're almost there. So does being a physician now become women's work? Does being a dentist then become women's work? I'm curious because, like, we actually are the majority of the population. I think we're 52%. Mm-hmm. So what happens when, because I'll be honest with you, nobody really, I don't want to say that. Like, what happens when you eliminate all of these people? If this is your driving force, you hate us that much, right? Mm-hmm. You end up, it's literally cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Right.
So let me say this. Last week I went to DC and we did some, I gave a speech about ACA and how my rates are going from $870 to about $1,300. And there was a nurse there from Minnesota, and she reminded me of the characters in Mel's Diner.
Oh, Flo.
Yeah. She had bleach blonde hair, she's wearing eyeliner, red lipstick, and she was talking a lot of trash about Donald Trump, about the administration. Think about the timeline here. Okay?
Right.
And she basically ran it down and said that she's the president of the nurses union.
Oh,
and
okay.
she was on national television running Trump down and the Republicans for the cuts to the subsidies for the ACA. Less than a week later, we've deprofessionalized nursing.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what I mean when I say it could be anything. And I don't think that's important. I think what's important is that it shrinks funding for public funding for social professions, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's part of a broader venture to reduce funding in social professions. Right? Because these are the people who stand up to the system. It's nurses, it's social workers that said defund the police. They supported that. They wanted to go in first. They wanted healthcare providers to go in. Then during COVID, it was nurses that were saying if people would just wear their masks, right? We won't be having this. Mm-hmm. And they were taking videos inside the hospital and they were posting them online and everyone was terrified. And it was the nurses and some doctors who told the story. So they're devaluing non-physician, non-doctor health workers. These grudges could be old. We don't know.
Right.
Okay. And it cost saves for student loans and Pell Grants.
Right.
Okay, and
that was the driver of the declassification, I believe.
Well, they say it was.
They say it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think kind of what happens is that Trump gets mad at someone, and then he calls up Stephen Miller and he says, "Build a narrative around this." Right. Build a narrative around this, and what do we get? What are the pros and what are the cons? And then they roll it out. It doesn't even make sense. Meanwhile, people are getting shot in the face. People's kids that they've sent up there, 22-year-olds, to be National Guards.
Right.
Right? And Carolyn Levitt's would-be sister-in-law, the mother of her nephew's mother, whose visa expired in 1999 and
undocumented for 20 years.
And she had DACA. She was a DACA. She's a dreamer, and she said she was in the process of applying for a green card. In any event, they picked her up and have whisked her away. I'm unsure of where she is. I didn't read that far. I just kind of saw this yesterday afternoon, and they are saying that she had an old battery charge. Her lawyers deny that she had an old battery charge, and they say that the accusations of a criminal past are not accurate, and they're fighting that. So basically, her name is Carolyn, her middle name is Carolyn Fiera. And she had a relationship, I think this was an extramarital affair, that was had by Michael Levitt Jr., okay, her brother. And the child has lived with Michael's wife and Michael since birth.
Oh.
Right. So it would have to have been extramarital if the child's been in there, unless they got married, while she was pregnant.
Right.
That would be the only other way that would make sense. So there's a little bit of drama du jour coming out of the White House for you. And I'm sure we will not be hearing from Carolyn on that. She said that she hasn't talked to this woman for many years. I'm sure once they got the child, there was no need to talk to her.
Right.
It's the kind of people they are.
Wow. Dang. That's really disturbing and disgusting.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Right. You're listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. You can give us a call at 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. So, yeah, I mean, it's like, well, you look at the people that he puts into, he puts people who are totally unqualified. Hedge Seth. I mean, that dude is as worthless. And Kash Patel, oh my gosh. That dude is nothing.
It is an entire administration of unqualified grifters.
Right.
And they're not even good at grifting because they can't even they can't be subtle about it.
Right.
Right? It's in your face grifting 24/7. All the time.
Oh, you want a pardon? Yeah, give me $950 million or $950,000 and I'll give you a pardon.
But you know what? You want to hear something juicy last night that I saw that my eyes wish they hadn't spied?
What?
There was a Democrat on television basically saying that Fani Willis has set the bar too high, that the case tried to do too many things with too many people. There were too many co-defendants, basically saying that she didn't know what she was doing. Right? And
was this person even a lawyer?
Probably not, though.
Okay, yeah.
Probably not. Not nurse, not lawyer, not doctor. And then this person, then Marilyn Bowsers, says that she's not running for a fourth term, I believe it is.
Muriel Bowser, mayor of D.C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I was watching young so-called progressive Democrats drag her for filth. Now, let me say this.
Ooh.
Sheriff McCormick, they say, brought a $109,000 ring, yellow diamond, with some of the proceeds that she got from the ill-gotten $5 million, or the mistakenly gotten $5 million, which she has now been indicted for. She tried, if you hadn't heard this, what's her district, CD?
20.
20, okay. The little 20s on there. So she is being challenged, primaried by Elijah Mann. I think he's about 26 years old. Now, Manley. Now, I keep saying that, misreading this kid's name. Now, this young person, I want to call him a kid on the air, young person has been running for office for some time.
Since he was 18.
Yeah, and this time, he's not anything special, I don't think. He's African American, and he wants out. A lot of people wanted Alcee Hastings' seat. So this kid thought, okay, I can do it. Now, he's challenging her, and everybody thought, oh, how cute. Again, here comes Elijah. But now he's getting big money. And he had raised $250,000 sometime in early spring, late winter. Okay? Like he started really early. And she tried to sue him. Sheila Sherflis McCormick, Rep. and 20, tried to sue Elijah for $1 million for defaming her by saying that she had stolen this money. And now she's been indicted. And so Elijah's PR team issued a statement, basically, which was the equivalent of a happy dance. Now, however, the point that I'd like to draw your attention to here is the glee with which white people of any party celebrate when they see a black person getting their just due, as it were. Meanwhile, our 36 felon, inhabits the White House, along with his previously convicted cronies. No one has a problem with this.
Right.
And so I have not said anything publicly until now, I don't think, about the Sheriff McCormick scandal. I have thoughts, right? Someone writes you a check for $5 and they mean to write you a check for $5 and you get a check for $50,000. You need to get on the phone and figure out, can you get a new check, right? You don't just go to the bank with your sunroof down, with your sunroof open, your hair blowing back, okay? Don't do it. I would not, highly not recommend. 0 of 5 would recommend. And so the things are happening, but they're happening now because of who's in the White House. They're happening because it creates chaos. The Housing Oversight Committee adjudicated this, and she said she would pay the money back, and yada, yada, yada. So now it's turned into a criminal case, right? And I don't know how far the criminal case can go. Because she said she would, I don't know if a crime was committed, right? And if it was by receiving. And then I think that's where it gets murky, but I'm not a lawyer. So I would like to hear more from someone who is. However, I will tell you that the racism is clear in this.
Yeah.
It's not just the people who were going bonkers over Muriel Bowser's declination of a fourth term were progressive Democrats. The people who are posting every day online about Sheriff McCormick when the world is burning. And I would say, if it were Mount Fuji, I'd understand it. But it's not.
Right.
There's so many other things, deprofessionalizing, taking away access from people who in that first generation of who get out of the family farm and out of blue collar work and into professional work. The CNAs that become practical nurses, who become RNs, who become MSNs, who become nursing administrators, and some become doctors. And they're closing those pathways. And this is what progressives, we need a general strike so that we can stop everything. And this is what progressives are on. And Florida, Tampa, in the epicenter of the foreclosure crisis, right? And this is what they get on Facebook and post every day. I mean, just post something fun to make people smile and move on. But don't act like you're on a case.
Yeah. Let's talk to Kip in Tampa. Hi, Kip.
Hi. I just learned a word the other day, and when you mentioned that government is being implemented by the least qualified people, the word is kakistocracy. K-A-K-I-S-T-O-C-R-A-C-Y, and it means government by the least competent available.
Right. Well,
so that's what we're under. We got a kakistocracy.
Yep. I agree.
That's all I had to say.
Thanks so much for calling, Kip.
Yep.
All right, then we have Valerie in St. Petersburg. Hi, Valerie.
Hello.
How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Doing fine.
Having a happy day.
I thought you were a telemarketer for a second,
Yeah,
Valerie.
happy colonizer day to you, Valerie.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm very pleased to hear you this morning while I'm cooking my sweet potatoes.
Oh. All right.
I have one question, or maybe I could have a few questions, but I know about this from the week. I have questions that I haven't delved deep enough into it. If you are in a profession, in the state of Florida, at least, I have a mechanical contractor's license.
Oh, okay.
Regulated by the Department of Florida that takes care of professionals. That's licensed professionals.
Mm-hmm.
I have 14 hours of continuing education that I need to do every 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
The woman that does my massage once a week has a professional license. She has continuing education, 7 hours every year. What happens when they say you're no longer a professional? Does that mean all that responsibility is over?
Nope.
Okay. So if you are still regulated by the Department of Professional whatever, then how can you be deemed a non-professional?
Right. Well, you know who's not licensed and who's not required to take continuing education?
Who?
Police.
Yeah, and the goons who are snatching people off the streets don't even have to show their faces.
Right.
Much less a license.
Right.
What about nurses?
I'm with you 100%. Like I said, I mean, I used my nursing degree as the stepping stone to my law degree, but it's like some nurses don't want to get higher education in nursing. They're happy with an associate's degree or a BSN, and that's fine. But they're still professionals. I mean, you're trusting people with lives. How can they not be professionals?
I know.
Somebody just wrote in and said that they think they were diverting funds to HHS.
But they were but you have CNAs, right?
Right.
CNAs get paid minimum wage.
Yes.
And they do crap work.
Right.
Right?
I mean, they do the grunt work. Yes.
They
very
do
much.
the things that a lot of people don't want to do, CNAs are doing.
Yep.
Right? And I'm trying to, because I always say follow the money, right? So I'm trying to make this make sense for me.
Me too.
Right.
It makes no
Right?
sense.
Because you know who also was not just healthcare, but you know who else was deprofessionalized? MBAs.
Right, I saw that too. Yeah, I saw that.
Right? But we're doing all of this stuff over here, and at the same time, and in the Department of Education, and at the same time, you have the goon in the White House trying to negotiate having Harvard create a trade school. Like nobody needs to learn how to be a carpenter at Harvard. Like, you know, and then you know, if you step inside the Wayback Machine and you realize that we took all of these trades out of public education, what are we doing?
Right.
We shouldn't have to pay. And now I'm going to just say, for interest, like public disclosure, I have a nephew that works in for-profit education in this very field, right? Trades, right? Which was the root of a lot of the stuff that the Obama White House, the Obama Justice Department, I should say, prosecuted, right? Those loans that students could never pay back in those professions, right? Mm-hmm. So why would we not, if we were really interested in trades and we were really interested in this kind of thing, why would we try to negotiate that with Harvard? Why would we not reinstitute trade as a path to your high school diploma in high school?
Right.
Where everybody's paying for that anyway.
Exactly.
You know what? Somebody just sent us in a list of all of the degrees that have been deprofessionalized, and I'm going to read this to you. Education, including a master's degree in education. That's where a lot of your principals come from. They become masters and then PhDs, and then they go into administration. Nursing,
curriculum creation,
nursing. The MSN, Masters of Science in Nursing, and a DNP, which is a doctorate in nurse practitioning. Social work, though it includes your MSWs and your DSWs. Public health, which someone suggested that I go back and get. An MPH has been deprofessionalized. No, thank you. And a doctor of public health. Doctorate of public health, gone. Doctor of public health. PA, which at one time I thought I might pursue. Jumping out of respiratory therapy because respiratory therapists are already classified as type B physician's assistants, which is why they and not nurses stand to the right of the doctor in the emergency room, because if you can't breathe, nothing else matters.
Right.
Shout out to all the RTs. The other Air Force. Then there is occupational therapy, so your OTs. So the people that you're going to see on the unit in ortho and neuro when you are trying to get your, skills back and button up your shirt and, learn how to whisk an egg. Those are the people that are right next to the the physical therapist. The occupational therapist, right?
Right.
They come in, they got a cake mix, they take you in the kitchen. A lot of units,
and that's a 5-year degree.
Yes, yeah. It's a highly and even your physical therapists are also, you have to be a doctorate in physical therapy in order to be considered a physical therapist. If not, you're just a physical therapy tech. Until I used to work in hospitals, right? Audiology. So those folks who are taking your hearing tests. They are not the doctor, but they are the folks who are putting you in the booth, putting the headset on you. They do a lot of work with our seniors,
right, and
people who work in the construction trades who lose their hearing early. Motorcycle riders who watch out. Speech language pathology. You'll soon be seeing an audiologist. Speech language pathology. Right? Those people go with your PTs and your OTs, right? A lot of times they'll come in. These people are highly medical. You might not think about it, but the speech therapist is the one who will say that you are a swallowing precaution.
Yes.
Or that you have to have thickened liquids. With your nurses don't do that. You have to be evaluated by ST. They just call them speech in the hospitals, okay? So if you guys have a stroke, like we're older people, right? If we have a stroke or get in a car accident, we're going to meet all of these professions on the way. We're going to meet PT, OT, ST, business masters, speech language pathology. So kids that have cleft lip and all other types of speech impediments, you're going to meet with a speech language pathologist. My husband's ex-wife is a speech language pathologist. She sees children for the state. We've got business masters, MBAs, makes no sense, right? They rule the world. Engineering masters, which my son was, going to go for. Okay. He was at school.
I don't know how you expect your buildings to stay up. I'm sorry.
We're going full Hong Kong.
Let's talk to Christine.
I got one more.
Okay.
Almost done. Counseling and therapy degrees.
Oh,
that's what you want. You want a generation of people who have all self-diagnosed themselves with mental illness, not seeing professionals for counseling and therapy.
I think I know why they ding that one, and we'll put a pin in that while we talk to Christine. Hi, Christine in St. Petersburg.
Good morning, ladies. Happy Colonizer Day, and thank you for bringing attention to this topic, as always. And I wanted to circle back to what you began speaking about, the situation with the Department of Education and taking funding away for these professional degrees. I have 13 years of experience in the classroom, but right now I'm working for a university, and what I do all day is I work in the financial aid department packaging students for federal Pell Grants and student loans. Now, unfortunately, because I work for a for-profit university, our superiors have yet to give us any type of information on how this is going to change our job.
Right.
And they do that on purpose because they're going to wait until the DOE pushes the button, and then they'll tell us what to do because they know it's going to cause us all stress because we're going to have to learn new processes. But in any event, so I have to get my information, from newspapers. So when I was reading the New York Times, I noticed that it said what they're going to do is reduce the grade level limit for graduate students, which is right now we can package students achieving a graduate program of $138,000 a year.
Uh-huh.
They're going to reduce that to $100,000. So for people out there that say, "Oh, it's only $38,000," they still have $100,000 a year. Well, those people are privileged. $38,000 is a lot of money for a lot of us.
For them, yeah.
I mean, I've got. I see these people, these students that call in, I see all of their financial history. Most of them are living at the poverty level. Mm-hmm. We're packaging them with federal Pell Grants, and then when they run out of Pell Grant money, we package them with loans. Mm-hmm. This is a very big deal. We are going to lose teachers. And then additionally, I also read that they're trying to reduce the federal Pell Grant. We give $73.95, almost $8,000 a year to students that qualify for the federal Pell Grant. That's 12 credit hours for 2 semesters. They want to raise it to 15 credit hours instead of 12, and they want to reduce it down to $5,000. So this is very, very serious, and I do agree with what you ladies have said about this is bigger than just money.
Yeah.
There's definitely darker intentions here.
Yeah,
right.
And it's very upsetting. And I don't want to call anybody's name out on the radio, but I do want to say there's a man that oftentimes calls in. I won't say his name. He always gives an intricate history lesson. He says he's in the health profession. I would like to hear from him about what he's going to do to protect our nurses, if he's going to vouch for them. I don't want to hear another history lesson. In any event, thank you so much for your conversation. I'll get off the line now. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine.
Now, speaking of things that we have to worry about and decommissioning, deregulating, deprofessionalizing that's going on, y'all, norovirus wastewater contaminations have increased by 69%.
Where?
Okay. Everywhere. And there is a winter vomiting disease that is happening in Louisiana, Michigan, let's see here, and Indiana. Okay. And that decommissioning, I wrote a note here. With data through November 21st, Amanda Bidwell, scientific program manager, I bet you she's a professional, for the wastewater scan program, said norovirus, that's such a disgusting, noroviruses are just so disgusting.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the non-hand washing, nasty stuff, stomach bug thing.
It's the thing I think about for every cruise and buffet.
Yes.
I won't do it. I don't do either for that reason. Also, you could end up stuffed under a bed.
Yes.
So, yeah, we're not doing that. And norovirus wastewater concentrations have increased nationwide by 69% since October.
Right.
October.
Jeez.
Okay?
Wow.
So, listen. So, when I say we're going full Hong Kong, that was an ode to bridges falling down. Okay? Buildings burning. That wasn't the first. That was on the news. When you don't have building code and you got a lot of people with a lot of money, they put up really sloppy, poorly built buildings, and in a high rise, those are death traps. So wastewater in a place like New York City, they should put military armed guards around the water plants in New York. If anything goes slightly to the left in a place like New York, right? You talk about using lethal force on your borders. You need to use lethal force around your water treatment
It's like
plants.
germ warfare.
Listen. So when you start deregulating, when you start pulling people who would be doing this work, right, and putting them over here, when you start deprofessionalizing people, this is what happens. All it takes is some seemingly insignificant parts per million contamination of a water source, and you've got mass tragedy on your hands. And that's when people say, oh, yeah, the government's in our business telling us what to do. Bro, we're a capitalist nation. If you don't limit what people can do, there will be no limit to what people will do.
Right.
Can I just add to that?
Please.
The reinsertion of forever chemicals.
Yes.
Being sprayed on our food.
Yes.
Meanwhile, this guy, who is your HHS secretary, spent his entire professional career being this pro-environmentalist. Like, what is going on?
And if we don't get ACA back on the rails, that nurse, that's the president, I should honor her by saying her name, that the nurses union said that more and more often, and Liz, you can relate to this, and then we'll get to these last callers, that more and more patients, the term that you're going to be hearing from the EMTs, which Trinity, is, this is a family of public health people, your whole family, right?
Yeah.
Your mother and your grandmother, public health nurses. Your granddaughter is an EMT. Mm-hmm. You guys have seen it all. That more and more often, the designation for a patient is going to be found down.
Yeah.
And that's what they say. My dad was found down. That's what happens when people don't go to doctor's visits, when they can't afford the copays, when they're uninsured. And at this time, the reason why it's relevant to today's discussion is because right now we are deprofessionalizing professions that we're going to have more need of than ever if we can't get ACA back on the rails and they start hacking into Medicaid funding.
Right. All right. Let's talk to Pat in Bushnell. Hi, Pat.
Hey,
Hi, Pat.
Yeah, good show. I like the show. But, there's sewage everywhere. Look at all the great mountains in Florida now. They could be ski slopes, but there's sewers, basically. But that's not what I called about. But that deprofessionalization is there's a big shortage of all these people.
Yeah.
So if they suddenly make it so any unqualified person can become that person, then there's no shortage anymore, and we solved the problem.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Minor detail, of course, they aren't qualified.
Yeah,
but
they're not qualified, yeah.
Lack of qualifications doesn't seem to be important these days.
Not to Trump, it doesn't.
Not to anything.
No. Yeah.
Not if you can make money at it. All right.
All right, thanks, Pat.
The meritocracy.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Meritocracy. You have to have it's the reverse meritocracy where you pick the worst person possible for the job.
I'm going to get my cousins snatched up by ICE and my in-laws.
That's horrible.
Like Carolyn. they probably, I don't mean to make a joke out of it because it's a very serious thing, right? On this Colonizers Day. I have named this day, right? Yesterday when I was channeling the Amish, I purchased, right? This is a little Thanksgiving side, okay? Literally and figuratively. I decided I was going to make green bean casserole, but I do this every year. So this year, Campbell's Soup, they showed their backsides, right? Only poor people can afford our meat. It's 3D printed chicken in the soup can.
I saw that.
Okay, now, so I am looking at this staring. There's a can. I only use Campbell's Soup for, most people do. When they do use it, they only use it for casseroles, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, there's a can of gluten-free Campbell's chicken noodle, cream of chicken soup in my cabinet. It's staring at me. I'm staring at it. And I'm like, nope, I'm going full Amish. Okay? I'm making the butter. I'm making the cream. And I sat there, and I'm going to post this picture on my Facebook page, and sliced those beans sideways.
Oh, my gosh.
About 2 pounds of them. It took me 2 hours. That's how determined I was not to have Campbell's in my life. Okay? Now, and I'm trying to do more with not non-processed foods anyway, right? Because then I have time. I'm off, this time of year. And I forgot why I was telling you this.
Campbell's Soup showed its backside, and the CEO said only poor people eat this garbage.
I don't understand how somebody could say something like that about a company that is paying him millions of dollars.
I know.
Because he had a moment of his conscience boiled up inside of him, right? Instead of just taking the check, he was like, wait a minute. And it was probably just a flash, right? He probably had some bad Coke or something.
Hot mic somewhere, yeah.
Had a moment of pause. But I'm sure that had they not fired him, he would have just kept collecting those checks. And anyway, I'm not buying it anymore. I don't eat canned soup anyway, because soup is too easy and too healthy to contaminate that whole meal item with processed high sodium, 3D printed meat. They use the worst types of meat in those soups, guys. If you're using them, don't use them for so many reasons more than just this guy, Campbell's.
Let me get Mike in Sarasota on the line. Hi, Mike.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I just would like to comment, and by the way, I completely agree with you about the Trump administration's tendency to deny blatant reality. And in this case, they deny that nursing education is professional education. Mm-hmm. Based on your show, I went to the internet and to artificial intelligence, and it says professional education is the formal training that prepares individuals for specific, highly skilled occupations by teaching them the knowledge, skills, and ethical practices required for a profession. My question, and this is rhetorical, how is nursing education not that?
Ooh, right. I mean, yeah, you take chemistry, you take microbiology, anatomy and physiology, all the ologies you have to take.
Pharmacology.
Organic chemistry. Organic chemistry.
So, yeah, it's like, how is that not? Yeah. Thanks so much.
it differs from academic education, which would be about, say, history or literature or something like that. This is very focused on a profession.
Right. Exactly. You take one class in one part of the body or one specialty area, like a whole semester of OBGYN, and then you go in the hospital and you take care of OB patients. I mean, yeah, it's really a lot.
Nurses catch doctors' mistakes, right? So the doctors write these orders. They're writing orders for dozens and dozens of patients, right? The hospitalists and the internists, they come around, they write these orders. And let's say you have a patient that has a bone marrow disorder.
Right.
And patient got a supplement list. And the patient tells the nurse, hey, I'm taking massive amounts of vitamin D and fish oil. Well, don't. If you're at bone marrow. And it's the nurse that's going to go tell the doctor, this guy's taking a gazillion, units a day of fish oil and 10,000 units of vitamin D. And he shouldn't be doing that because it's going to counter the medication, the shots that we're giving them to help him create more cells. Right? So it's the nurses that are catching the mistakes. It's the nurses that hear about these contraindications from patients. Oh, yeah, I put my feet up when I... Absolutely not, sir, right? And then the nurse walks it back to the doctor, and the doctor comes back and says this. When the patient can't be properly, when you can't get, these are things that I've seen.
Right.
When you cannot get a patient's pain to stop because they have a history of substance use, of opioids, and so this patient might be getting a horse dose. Right. And they're screaming on the unit. It's the nurse that calls the doctor and says, did you read the patient's history? Right. This patient is not going to be, have their pain controlled at this level. The nurses do that.
Right.
We rely on nurses to implement doctors' orders, and we're deprofessionalizing that?
Yeah. Thanks for calling, Mike.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. All right, now, Simon from Lakeland. And
oh, my God.
Yeah, well, he was summoned by one of our prior callers.
I know. And I was cringing when that happened.
Must we
Hi,
on this
Simon. Yeah. Let's see
30
if...
seconds.
Yes. We're getting short. Yeah.
Happy Treaty of Tordesillas Day, when the Pope divided the New World between Spain and Portugal. So much for colonization. I typed in... And I was at the library, actually, at USF about 3 weeks ago. They have a Starbucks in the library. Amazing. I didn't have that back.
You have 15 seconds.
Okay, why was the nursing program removed from professional degree? A way of lowering inflation costs in education. Read about that. It's a means of lowering the education costs in this country.
Okay, if you say so.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
So
thanks, Simon.
That was 30 seconds.
Yes.
And the reason why we're not doing it today is because today is, I'm sure is glad that the land back movement isn't dead day, okay? We're not going to be colonized here on the People's Radio station that this year rose to a tremendous challenge by the Trump administration to fund and remain self-directed. On this radio station, we will not accept the words of a colonizer, an avowed colonizer, a would-be colonizer of other lands across waters. Not today.
All right. So, any last-minute thoughts as Frank gives me the finger?
Yeah. So don't get your draws in a bunch, right? They're going to be more. People are sitting at home, so they're going to do some more bombastic stuff for the holiday season. Focus on donating to the candidates that you'd like to see take office. All is not lost. The midterms are coming.
Yes. Maria, any last messages?
Hey, here. That's my last message. Happy Colonizers Day. Here.
Right. Happy
well done. Yes. Well done, ladies.
And I was supposed to mention that Marcy's show earlier, Words of Music, was only the second hour of the show. So thank you all for joining us.
That show was good.
Please listen in next week.
I like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? bitch, I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula. I put rocks all in my watch.
Recording stopped.
This is WM.